how's it going? Welcome to the Guitar Effect. My name's Rob. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at my new pedal board, which I've just finished with. I intend to be my main pedal board for 2024. But before I get into that, as always, I'll ask you to please like and subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you can be kept up to date every time I put out a new video. So normally I would hold my pedal up and show it to the camera at this point, but it's a pedal board, so it's huge. Well, not huge, but it's too big to hold up. So what I'm going to do is, in a few minutes, I'm going to throw it up on the screen to show you what the pedal board's about and why I built it and stuff like that, and then I'm going to get into the audio demo. So really quickly, the first thing is, the reason I built this is because my main pedal board that I use at our band studio, I'm in a band called, three-piece alternative band called Kampala. I'll put the link to the band up there if you want to have a look. And I sing and play guitar, and we have our own studio where we rehearse, we write, and also we record. So this pedal board needs to be able to do all those things. Also, when we go out and play a headline show and I bring my own 2 amps, I use this board, right? So before, in the previous iteration of this pedal board, I was using a Pedatrain 3, which is basically like a Pedatrain 2, but with an extra rail to accommodate a loop switcher. I use a loop switcher, so what I'm going to do is throw my old pedal board up on screen to show you now. So here that is. So as you can see, there was a Flashback X4 on it, which is a big delay pedal, and there was a Line 6 M5 in it, which is a quite large multi-effects unit. I wanted to remove the 2 of them and downsize to some smaller type of multi-effects unit, so I decided I would replace the 2 of them with the Plethora X3. So what that allowed me to do was build this pedal board, which I'm going to stick up on screen now, and so this is my new pedal board. It's a Pedatrain 1, which is significantly smaller than the Pedatrain 3. It's easier to carry around, it's lighter, there's less pedals on it, which means it's easier to power. So I'm going to run through really quickly what those pedals are. So the Boss ES8 is a loop switching system, which allows you to put pedals into loops and then use the switches to turn on and off combinations of those pedals. It also allows you to do things like every time you hit a switch, you can send a mini message. So what the pedals are, in loop 1 is the Electronic Harmonix Pitchfork Plus, which is an octave pedal. In loop 2 is the Mooer Spark Compressor, which is a compressor. In loop 3, there is a Skreddy Rover Fuzz, which is a tone bender fuzz style pedal. In loop 4, there is the Jam Pedals Double Dreamer, but specifically the Tube Dreamer side, which is a Tube Screamer. In loop 5, there is the Boost, which is the EQ pedal that's beside the compressor. In loop 6, there is the OPFX Electric Vibe, which is a Uni-Vibe pedal. And in loop 7, there is the other side of the Double Dreamer, which is the amp in a box style side. And then in loop 8, there is the TC Electronic Plethora X3. Then the tuner out goes into the tuner beside the Plethora there. And that is all the pedals on the board. There is an expression pedal off the board, which is plugged into an expression input. And then that controls expression settings on the Plethora X3 via MIDI. So there you go. The whole thing is powered by a Hotone CS6, which is a really small, light power supply as well. So this is a small, in the grander scheme of things, like proper main pedal board. Small, light, compact, easy to carry around. I'm really, really happy with it. So I suppose the main thing is to take a listen to it. So here you go. Okay, so to demo the pedal board today, I'm going to play this, right? This is my Owen Lutherie, which is a builder here in kind of the Midlands in Ireland. And it's a Jazz Blaster. So this is a custom built guitar. Which is basically a Jazz Master with 2 wide range humbuckers, and that's what I'll be using to demo. It's the main guitar I use for playing my originals band Kampala. So from there, out of the guitar into the pedal board, and then the pedal board has 2 outputs. One output goes to one side, one output goes to the other side. They're panned hard right and left. On the right is the Koch Studio Tone 20 on the clean channel, which is kind of like Marshall Plexi Clean-esque. And on the other side is a Hotone British Invasion Nano Legacy, which is a micro head that is slightly Vox flavoured. And together, the 2 of them sound like this. So that is, guitar does humbucker and single coil. There's actually single coil on the neck, humbucker in the bridge. Single coil on the neck, humbucker in the bridge. Single coil in the bridge. So this guitar kind of does everything, right? Okay, so the first thing on the pedal board then, I'm going to break this demo up into 2 parts. First of all, I'm going to go through all the different pedals and show what they do. I've got a cold, apologies. Go through all the pedals, show what they do, and then after that, I'm going to show how I use it with presets and stuff like that. Okay, so the first thing is there's an octave pedal here, which is the Pitchfork Plus from Electro Harmonix, right? And I have 3 settings on it. I have a 12-string setting, which is a really small blend of an octave up. I have a octave down setting, and then lastly I have a whammy setting. So here is the octave up setting. It's really, really super subtle. You can hear it there. And without it, with it. So basically, where you set this third knob, which is the shift up, the more you bring it in, the more it gives you a high octave. I wanted to kind of be a faux 12 string kind of thing, so that's why I have the thing blend really low. Normally I would combine that with the compressor. Okay, and that's the octave up sound. If I hit this foot switch, it brings me to preset 2 on the Pitchfork, and that's the octave down sound. Normally when I'm doing this, I'm combining it with the fuzz, which sounds like this. It's just a straight octave down, okay? The next thing on the board then is the compressor. Oh, well, sorry, I'm skipping over one of the Pitchfork settings. The third setting is the again with the fuzz. Oh, turn it on. Allows me to have a whammy without having to have a whammy on the board. The cool thing about the Pitchfork Plus is every time I'm doing that pitch bend, I'm just hitting the bypass switch, but it allows you to control the speed up and down of that ramp. So that's all the whammy I need. I use it once in our band's whole set. So that is the octave pedal. After that then is the compressor. So without the compressor, humbucker back pickup. With the compressor. So it just cleans up all the attack. I also, the compressor has a bright switch on it. When I'm using this guitar in particular, I like to add that bright switch because it kind of brightens up fundamentally quite a powerful, gainy sounding clean sound. I'm going to turn myself up slightly. Okay, so that's the compressor. And by the way, that's the compressor here on the back of the board. It's a Mooer Spark compressor, which is tiny, and I've had this compressor on my board for must be 7 or 8 years. I think it's a brilliant sounding little compressor. I really love it. After that then is the fuzz pedal, and that is this Skreddy Rover fuzz, and it's a tone bender software. What I find about this is it has the perfect amount of Velcro-y fuzziness to make it an interesting tonal thing. But I find with those fuzzes, they work well with single lines and lead stuff, but they don't really work well with chords, whereas this works great with chords. On a single coil in the back pickup. Really like it for, like, it's a fuzz, chordy, riffy tone, but it's not a muff. So when you start getting into complex, I wouldn't use it for that, but for power chords and stuff it works great. So that's my main fuzz. After that, I have, sorry, turn this on. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit complicated. This pedal here at the back of the board is my main overdrive pedal, and that is the Jam Pedals Double Dreamer, which I've just done a demo of and I'll throw it up here. It's my newest pedal. What this pedal allows you to do, it's basically a tube screamer and an amp in a box style pedal, and the fact that it has a TRS jack on either side means that you can either run it like a standard pedal and put them in series, or you can do this thing where you use TRS jacks that change each side to an input and output, which effectively allows you, if you're using a pedal switcher like I am, to put the Lucy Dreamer, which is the Tube Dreamer, which is the tube screamer side, into one loop, and the Lucy Dreamer, which is the more amp in a box style, into another loop, right? So what I do is, right now, the Tube Dreamer, which is the tube screamer side, is in number 4 here. It's in loop 4, right? So here is the sound without it. With it. So that's like a standard mid-boosted tube screamery, not much gain style sound. Okay, and that's the tube screamer. Again, I'm not going to go through the settings on these pedals. You can see demos of the Double Dreamer, like in that link I put up a second ago. After that then is the boost, and this is this little EQ pedal at the back. And this I mainly use as a solo boost, and it comes after everything else whenever I need to solo. So here, this is just the solo boost. It's a level boost, and then depending on what I want to do on that particular day, I can boost some frequencies on it. So right now I have like the upper mids boosted slightly, maybe even kind of the top end. And then I have this marked as reverb on the board on number 6, but what that actually is this electric vibe pedal here. And this is OPFX, which is an Italian boutique builder that I do a lot of stuff with. And it is a vibe pedal, and it is my favorite modulation pedal I've ever had. It is 100% analog, and interestingly, I'll be coming on to the Plethora X3 in a minute. But the vibe pedal is completely analog, and it's the one sort of signature modulation sound that I have on my board, and I really love it. So how I use this is generally with the tube screamer for this one riff in one song, single coil pickup, and I generally have some reverb on it. Okay, so here's the amazing thing about this. First of all, that vibe just sounds gorgeous. But also, it has an envelope feature where how hard you hit the strings controls the pace of the vibe, of the univibe, right? But then it slows down as the intensity of the attack goes away. So the speed and the depth vary. It's just a phenomenal vibe pedal. I absolutely love it. I'm using it in 2 places in the set. Really signature, because it's so pronounced and like takes over the sound in such a big way. You couldn't use it more than that, or all your songs and start to sound the same. But I just love it. I think actually that might be my favorite pedal on this board. Okay, so that's that, and then that's in loop 6. Right, and here's the interesting thing. In loop 7, I have the other side of the Double Dreamer, which is again this drive pedal here, and this is my main drive pedal. And what that is basically the same sound that you have with the mids pushed a little bit and dirty. Okay, now, this is really important about the way this pedal board works, so just turn it off. Normally when I use this pedal board, I'll be using 2 Line 6 DT25 amplifiers, which are channel switching. And they can channel switch via MIDI. So what I do is, I take a MIDI cable out of the back of the board, and on each patch for each song, it's either the clean channel amp or the dirty channel amp. If I'm going to play a show and I don't have my amps, the Lucid Dreamer on the Double Dreamer replaces that sound. So that loop number 7 is always on when I'm on a dirty sound, and if I get to the gig and I'm using my own amps, I simply bypass it here. And therefore I'm either using the gain off the amps as my main dirty sound, or I'm using the gain off the Lucid Dreamer, which I'm doing here because I don't have my amps on. So that's what the number 7 is. It's like for when I need to use it in front of house amps. Also, there is on this, underneath the tuner here, and you can't see it, I'll put a photograph up of it, there's a patch bay. And the patch bay has another loop coming from the ES8, which allows me to take basically the preamp of one of the amps I'm using, the wet amp, and put it in the effects loop of the board, which means that when I'm running a wet-dry setup, everything goes in front of the dry amp, and everything goes in front of the preamp of the wet amp, which allows me to run my time-based effect after the gain stage in that amp, which is really important. So this board really facilitates a lot of different signal swapping and changing and stuff like that. So it's very, very powerful. So after that, and the last pedal is this TC Electronic Plethora X3. There's no point in me going through the different sounds. I am going to make a video about this. There's a YouTuber whose name escapes me now. I'll put him in the comments below. I think he's like Romanian. And he makes amazing videos about these TC Electronic Plethora pedals. Can't remember his name. Sorry, dude. I'll put his name in the description down below. And my God, if you want to know about these Plethora pedals, he's the guy to go to. So each song that I have on the board pulls up a different pedal board on the Plethora X3, and this is where I do all my delay, reverb, and most of my modulation effects, as well as noise gating when necessary. So in this particular song, there's a reverb, an echo, and a tremolo. So here's the reverb. Okay, and then here's the delay. And here is the tremolo. So, the fact that this pedal is like the size of 3 stomp boxes is brilliant. Via MIDI, I'm able to pull up a different board for each song, so that I have the time-based effects I need for that song and modulation. But I'm also able to use CC messages from song part to song part to turn on and off individual effects. In that way, this is a huge thing that has allowed me to really reduce the size of the pedal board that I'm using. Okay, so that will become more apparent as I go into the presets part of the video. Then the last thing, obviously, is you can see here this tuner, the Korg Pitchblack, which being the tuner I've used for years and years and years and years and years. And when I hit the mute switch, signal gets muted, and I can tune. Okay, and that is, and then obviously you can see there's an expression pedal here as well. It's only used in about 3 places, but I'll show those particular presets. The expression pedal is plugged into ES8, and then out of the ES8 via MIDI, I control expression settings only in the Plethora. Okay, so that's the individual pedals part of the board. I'm going to change over now and demo like how I use this thing to get the most out of it. Okay, so for the second part of the demo, what I want to demonstrate is why basically I use a looper instead of just using these individual pedals. And it's actually, there's a lot of facets to this. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate 2 or 3 different songs and how I have it set up rather than going through every song. Right? So the way the pedal board is set up is in banks, I have a number of switches per part of song. So this song is called Modern Disease. Then you have Modern Disease Verse, Modern Disease Chorus, and Modern Disease Solo. Next song's called Lonely Lives. I have Lonely Lives and Lonely Lives Bridge. Okay, so going back to Modern Disease. Every time I change song, you'll notice all 3 effects on the Plethora X3 change, right? So it goes from here on Modern Disease, a reverb delay and a chorus, to a different reverb delay and a phaser on different songs. So every time I go to the first patch associated with a song, the Plethora via a program change message pulls up a different pedal board for that song. And separate to that, as I go through the different parts of the song, you'll notice on the intro part of Modern Disease, there's a reverb and delay on, but the chorus is off. When I hit the second switch, that doesn't change for the verse, but when I go to the chorus comes on. And then on the last patch, the chorus goes off again for the solo, right? So I want to change something for a sec. Also, you'll notice in this display down by my foot here, there is a number of numbers. They're the on loops. So in Modern Disease, when I change to the second loop, number 3 is the fuzz. It turns off the fuzz and turns on the compressor for the clean part. And then when I change to the chorus, it turns on the overdrive and turns off the compressor. And when I change to the solo, it turns on the tube screamer, the overdrive, and the boost. Okay, so I'm going to show you what that means now. All right, so these are all one switch. Okay, so we start off Modern Disease with the fuzz on for this kind of heavy fuzz passage. It sounds like this. Okay, so what that is, it's the fuzz and it's the Plethora X3 doing a delay and a reverb. Also, the Boss ES8 switcher is telling the Plethora that the tempo of the song is 100 BPM. Okay, so then when I move on to the second sound, we now go into the fuzz off and the compressor on for the. Again, same reverb and delay as the first part. We go to the chorus. It turns on a fast chorus, which I'm using to emulate a rotary cab, and it turns on the main overdrive. That's the chorus sound, and then we get to the solo, where it turns off the chorus and turns on the boost and the. So with those 4 patches, with single switches, I'm using loads of different effects, and I can do so with single switches while I sing. Okay, so coming on to the next song is completely different. In this one, we're tuned into. So in this one, I'm using the compressor and a delay and reverb off the Plethora X3 in the sense of this. So that's basically the intro to the song. What's interesting here is all of these Boss switching units have a function called current number, which means you can assign something to happen when you hit the active preset foot switch. So right now we're in preset 5, but when I hit it again, it turns off the compressor and turns on the tube screamer, and it sounds like this. So what's interesting about that is it allows me to effectively have 2 presets on one foot switch, which means that it limits the amount of presets I need on the board in certain circumstances. And then quite simply, I hit the bridge part of the song and it turns on the phaser. And then I hit that again for the end of the song, it turns off the phaser. And that's all I need for that song. So if we go up to the next one, yes, there's an interesting thing here. So on Perfect, which is one of our heavier songs, I'm just going to tune. Give me one sec. Okay, so on the next song, Perfect, there's an interesting thing happens with the expression pedal here. So the intro to the song is this main overdrive, the Lucy Dreamer, and the Plethora with delay and noise gate. So you can see the delay is pretty much off, right? You can hear it there. And what's happening is the noise gate is cutting it off. As long as I keep playing, it's going, but when I stop playing, it kills it, and there's a reason. Then when I get to the chorus parts of that song, I hit the same switch. Okay, what's interesting here is, at this point in the song, it goes into this sort of freak out bit where I do this trilled lead passage. That delay that I have at the moment doesn't have a high enough mix for that particular part of the song. So what I do is I use the expression pedal to roll in via MIDI full mix on the delay. So what happens is the delay goes from this mix to this mix. You can see it changing on the Plethora X3, which is really useful. Again, the power of MIDI. Next part of that song, we go into a sort of rotary part that goes. Okay, I forgot to pull the expression level down. Okay, doing it again. And then at the very end of the song, simply that the rotary gets turned off. So that's another patch, and you can hear the noise gate there, because there's a lot of points where I'm not touching the guitar in that song and I'm singing, so I need that noise gate to be working hard. And then this is an interesting one. So this is progress, and what happens in this song is the whole song is one sound except for the introduction to the tube screamer. So this is a kind of a cleanish song that I use a vibrato, but only on one amp to simulate chorus. And then, so that's the verse part, and when we hit the chorus, I simply hit the same switch and it brings in the tube screamer. Two sounds I use for that song. So the last one I'm going to show you is a song called Don't Look Down, which we go to the single coil and the bridge pickup on this guitar, and this is the one that employs the electric vibe. So the song starts off with the reverb, should be on there, starts off with the reverb, the noise gate should be off, starts off with the reverb and the vintage echo on. It sounds like this. When we move to the verse part, it simply turns off that overdrive. And you can see the light, if you can see it on the camera there, of the vibe pedals speeding up and slowing down. Then when I get halfway through that verse, it gets to a heavy bit where I hit the same switch again and turns on the tube screamer. And then when we get to the solo at the end, we turn on the last switch, it turns on the boost. And so on and so forth. So you can see that, again, with single switching and also the different pickup options on the guitar, I'm really able to get through any gig with total ease, and the MIDI capabilities of being able to program different patch every time I change to a new song on the X3, and then using CC commands with both the expression pedal and switches to both turn on and off effects and then control parameters when in effects really makes this an unbelievably powerful rig. There you go. That is my new pedal board for 2024. So a lot of things to say. It's compact, it's light, which is what I wanted to do. The Plethora X3 definitely deserves a shout out for doing a huge amount of heavy lifting. Bringing MIDI into play with that thing makes a huge difference. By the way, there is a YouTuber whose name escapes me now, but I'll throw it up on screen now. He's, I think, Romanian or maybe Bulgarian or something like that. And he is the authority on the TC Plethora pedals. He knows everything there is to know about them, and he makes amazing videos explaining how to use them. I would have been lost without him in knowing whether I could use the X3 to do what I wanted to do. And even at that, they recently updated the software, which has made it usable, because when I got it, it wasn't usable. But the software update has allowed me to use it in the capacity I want to. And I think the other thing that requires a shout out is the double dreamer, for being able to split the two sides into two separate loops. Amazing. And lastly, the Pitchfork. The fact that it can do all these different octave effects, like the octave up 12 string thing, the octave down, and then the whammy thing all in one pedal, makes it perfect for this kind of board. It's almost like, you know, the double dreamer, the Plethora X3 and the Pitchfork are all multi-effects, but they're just really compact and they do what they do really, really well. So I'm really happy with this board so far. There's nothing on it at the moment that would stick out to me that I would want to change. So I think if you're looking to do a compact board but you want to use a big switching system, definitely look at the Plethora X3. It's a great yoke. And if you want to do some pitch shifting and you want to do different types of pitch shifting, the Pitchfork Plus is really, really good at doing what you need it to do. And then the double dreamer, if you're using a switching system for being able to split the two sides, is great. So there you go. That is the demo of the 2024 pedal board. It may change throughout the year 2024. In fact, I'm sure it will. They always do. If you've enjoyed the video and you've been watching this far, I sincerely say thank you. I can rub it on a bit. It's a big pedal board. It's going to take a long video. If you have any questions, throw them in the comment section down below. And if you have watched this far and you've enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. It does wonders for the channel. And also check out the channel membership thing. See if you want to become a member. And if we get enough members, we'll start doing some Q&A sessions, live streams, stuff like that. All right, take it easy. And I'll see you in another video again soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.